Hey, my name is Colleen Daly. I'm a senior at Asheville High School in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm here to tell you my story about secondhand smoke. My Nana lives, well, not exactly lives, but spends a great deal of her time in a bar on Rosemary Street in Chapel Hill, right off of Franklin Street. And every time I go to visit her, I'm usually spending about 1 or 2 hours at a time in the bar with her until I have to leave because of the smoke. One of the issues is that I have asthma. And statistics show that for every 5 minutes you spend in a room that is full of secondhand smoke, it's like smoking a cigarette yourself. And that really can wear on people with conditions like mine. So what I find is that while I want to spend time with my family and friends in that location, it's really difficult for me. And every time I go, I end up thinking, well, what about the people who work there, who spend 8 hours at a time every day in that kind of a situation? I think it's really important that people are protected from secondhand smoke because it's protecting them from a decision that someone else made. They themselves weren't the one who decided to pick up a cigarette, but yet they're exposed to all the dangers that someone who smokes themselves deal with. It's very important that we do that, and for that reason I support House Bill number 2. Thank you so much for your consideration, and I really hope to see you vote yes.
Hi, my name is Erin Gray, and I would like to tell you about an experience of mine with secondhand smoke. A friend of mine lives in an apartment building where smoking is allowed outside on the grounds. One day as I was leaving, I stopped to talk to someone, and while we were talking, she was smoking. As I was walking home, I realized I was having a hard time breathing, and by the time I got home, I was having an asthma attack. I was coughing, couldn't breathe, could barely talk, and eventually I had to be put on a nebulizer, all because she had been smoking while I was talking. This could happen anywhere, downtown, in the neighborhood, no matter where I am. If there's smoke, it can really affect me. Secondhand smoke affects everyone, and I would like your support in making public places smoke-free.
My name is Sarah. I'm from Hendersonville, North Carolina, and I would like to tell you the story of my mother, Hazel. She died of the effects of secondhand smoke. She was not a person who worked in a bar or a restaurant. She was a school teacher. She was exposed to secondhand smoke in the teacher's lounge every day where she taught for over 25 years. And luckily now, the schools in North Carolina do not have to worry about exposure of the workers to secondhand smoke, but it's still an issue for people that do work in bars and other areas, in restaurants, or even on the street. So please take action to protect all of us from the effects of secondhand smoke.
Hi, my name is Kaya Moen. I'm a sophomore at the School of Inquiry and Life Sciences at Asheville. From the age of 14, my dad used to smoke, and he also had diabetes. And by the time he graduated college, he had already had kidney failure. We know that not only was diabetes a part of it, but the smoking too. So luckily he stopped before I was born. But not only was my mother affected by it, but I inherited her allergy to smoking. For the longest time when I lived in Norway, there were no rules about indoor smoking anywhere. I remember this one restaurant where the smoking was right inside the door, and I had to run holding my breath just to get to the non-smoking side. I do believe that people need and deserve to be protected from secondhand smoke. Please vote yes for House Bill number 2.
Hi. I'm Penny, and I want to share with you how tobacco and secondhand smoke has affected my family. I've always tried to avoid secondhand smoke as a result of a deathbed warning my father gave to my family that we shouldn't smoke or be around tobacco. He died at the age of 43, and I was 4 months old. I was successful in avoiding secondhand smoke until I worked in an environment where at least 7 people smoked outside my office. But it was outside, but right outside my office. I went to the doctor when I was working there, and I just was not feeling well. Finally, the doctor was able to diagnose me with metabolic syndrome, which is a precursor to heart disease. and is linked with secondhand smoke. A year and a half to 2 years later, I was in the hospital with my daughter, who had to learn that her mother was going to have a bypass surgery. Secondhand smoke creates victims. Please protect your workers, North Carolina workers, and the public from secondhand smoke.
My name is Donna, and I'm very concerned about the dangers of secondhand smoke. I have asthma, which I feel like is a problem for me because I was raised in a home where both parents smoked. Also, after college, the first couple of jobs I had were in environments where people were allowed to smoke. When I moved away from home to go to college, I was able to live in a smoke-free environment. So that was the first experience I had of being in a smoke-free world. All workers in North Carolina deserve to be in a smoke-free environment. I feel strongly that you should be protected in any work site. Today I work for a school setting, and all of our schools are tobacco-free, so I have that protection, but not everyone does. I hope my local policymakers are going to support House Bill number 2, which has just been introduced in Raleigh. This bill will protect workers from secondhand smoke, and everyone does deserve this protection.